Hello, dear viewers and dear listeners. Welcome back to Papa-Norr Story Time. So far, we've been reading this very interesting book, The Step Monster. And I'm sure a few of you could relate to the book and the story in the book because of the nitty-gritty of the story. Today, we are finally bringing this book to a close. And so the author, Ruby Goka, will be reading the final chapter of the book. When she's read the book, we will bring the curtain to a close. We'll bring the book to a close. If you've enjoyed the book, I would encourage you to go to the bookstores that are labeled at the bottom of the screen and buy a copy of the book. It's very interesting. But so far, we are taking on your suggestions and insights that you've given to us. We'll be making a few changes here and there to book reading. And so The Step Monster is coming to an end. If you're new to the channel, I'd like to encourage you, nudge you, to please watch the video, click on that notification button, subscribe and share. My name once again is Papa-Norr. Let's hear Ruby on the final chapter of The Step Monster.
When we got back to Assis 2 weeks later, I noticed that Pope had finally found something for the blank wall of the lobby. A large mosaic of Mama had been set up on the wall that Pope had been saving for something special. The mosaic was made entirely of crown corks. It was a replica of one of her pictures in which she had been looking straight into the camera and had been laughing. It was my favorite picture of her. The artist had even managed to capture the sparkle in her eyes and the bubbly expression on her face. The mosaic was perfect for the wall. The artist hadn't signed his work, but I knew immediately who had done it. When I asked where he was, Pope told me Manchi had asked for time off work. 2 gallery owners were showing his work in Kumasi and also in Cape Coast. Nadu's mom, Grandma Nati, moved to Ada with us to help Nadu care for Boko. Nyawayo didn't visit as often as we all thought she would have. She didn't say it, but we all knew she was disappointed the baby was a boy. I liked Grandma Nati. I didn't even care that she was a worse cook than Nadu. She dyed her short, natural hair different color every month. It was currently dyed purple. She had hurt her neck when she had gone climbing a plateau and slipped and fallen, but that didn't deter her. She said she was going back there to conquer the mighty mountain as soon as the brace was taken off. She had already recruited Nene and me to join her. She knew most of the current dances and all the words of the latest songs. For the first time in 3 years, Pope took a month off work. Pope was the one who stayed up with Broko at dawn. After she had her feedings, he made time for each one of us, me, Nene, and Nadu. He offered me a job at the resort and I gladly accepted. Mrs. Hammond promoted me to waiting tables. I got to see many of the rich and prominent up close. And to top it all, the tips were very good. Pope still taught Nene, but he was also planning to enroll him in a private school. When I closed from work in the afternoons, Pope himself taught me how to drive his Forerunner. Sometimes we didn't drive at all, but sat and talked about everything, life, love, and loss. I even told him about a call. I realized there was more to growing up and being an adult than just turning 18. And even though I'd begun studying to resist the WASI, I wasn't in a hurry to leave for the university just yet. This was supposed to be sweet 16, and I was going to make sure I had many good memories when I looked back on my life one day. I was just getting off the afternoon shift one day when a green Jaguar drove up to the lobby. "Hello and welcome to Assis, your slice of paradise. How may I help you?" I said to the prospective guest. It's a very prominent, televangelist. His church ran 5 back-to-back services on Sundays. Each service was packed full to capacity. I'm here to see my son, John Niafote Takiago. I've been told he works here. A very well-dressed lady stepped out of the car. She looked immaculate. Not a strand of hair was out of place. I couldn't take my eyes off her face. She was very beautiful, but she looked really worried. I'm sorry, we don't have any employee by that name. Surely I would have known if his son was working for us as an employee. But then again, maybe it was connected to a new project that Pope hadn't yet told me about. Maybe his son was working as a consultant or something. Pope was always in business meetings with people who wanted to partner him. They conferred for a minute. Please direct us to your supervisor. I was only too happy to comply. I took them to Mrs. Hammond. She would know what to tell them. As I turned to leave, I heard Mrs. Hammond say, "Oh, Manche. Yes, he works with us, but he's taking a leave of absence. I don't know when he'll be back." I couldn't have been more surprised if Mama had come back to life. How could I have ever called Manche a boy? I rushed home to tell Pop about Manche's parents, but he was not in. Both Nadu and Bioko were asleep. Grandma Natty and Nene were on the beach. Grandma was letting Nene bury her in the sand, neck brace and all. Nyewa, you would never have allowed that, not in a million years. I changed out of my uniform and slipped into jean shorts and a t-shirt. I stole sunflowers off a bouquet on the center table and walked to the cemetery. This was the news I definitely had to share with Mama. I saw the car before I saw Pope. It was parked beneath some neem trees. Pope himself sat beside Mama's grave. There were 3 freshly picked sunflowers on the grave. He didn't look surprised to see me. He made space for me on the ground and draped his arm around me when I sat down. "It was you all along," I said, pointing to the sunflowers. They were her favorite. "I thought you had forgotten about her." Pope chuckled and squeezed my shoulder. 23 years is not something you easily forget. I put my stolen bouquet beside his and we talked. I was so wrong about everything, even Manche. I told Pope about how I'd called Manche a boy at the party and that his parents had come looking for him. "Did you know about his parents?" I knew. Pope nodded. When he first came to stay with us, he mentioned it. He said they wanted him to choose something more noble, like being a lawyer or an engineer. All he's ever wanted to be is an artist. I always thought Manche was his real name. I thought he was named Chief, like how you guys named Nene. Nah, I thought the same too, but he said Manche was a brand name. So did his parents disown him? Pope looked at me for a long time. His smile tugged at the corner of his lips. He played with a strand of my hair. "You'll have kids of your own someday. I doubt you disown them because they don't want to follow a path you chose for them. Why don't you ask him for yourself?" Pope asked, standing up and pulling me up with him. "He's coming back today. I don't think he'll want to speak to me. He's still upset with me," I said, dusting off the bottom of my jeans. There was a knock on my door at 6:30 p.m. I thought it was Nene calling me to tell me supper was ready. I closed the gas call science textbook I'd been studying. "Come in." Manche stepped in. I realized how much I'd missed him. "I'm sorry I called you a boy," I said before he could speak. He shrugged my apology away. That helped, actually. It made me more aggressive. I stopped waiting for someone to discover me or offer to help, and I decided to help myself. To be proactive. So I sent my work to all the galleries I knew of and actually sold about 2/3 of my pieces. So thanks. If it weren't for you, I'd still be sitting around on my hands. I didn't know if he was being sarcastic or not, so I changed the topic. "Your parents came here today." "Yeah, I know," he said. He sat on the edge of my bed. "Everyone's told me." "How come you never told me about them?" "How come you never asked?" Why hadn't I asked? I just assumed he was from a broken home and so I hadn't bothered to find out more. "I really am sorry I called you a boy. He grinned. "Don't worry. I like being a boy. Besides, I doubt if they came to say anything different. They still want me to go to either med school or law school, but I won't. My sister is a doctor. She wanted to be an actress. My brother is a civil engineer. He wanted to be a footballer. They both hate their jobs, but my parents overlook that. I'm an embarrassment to them. The looks, the arts, everything. What they don't realize is that I love God just as much as they do. I think not doing what I love would be a betrayal of the gifts He's given me. I can't do that to myself. I like myself too much. I like you too. I looked at the notes Pope had slipped under my door the night I had found out I was adopted. I'd been using it as a bookmarker. It was true. Family wasn't always related by blood. More than you like Echo Aban. Echo who? Much chagrined. What were you doing at the Imperial anyway? I asked. I went to drop off 2 pieces for their manager. Are you sure you're over him? Ancient history. Mancher's grin broadened. He didn't deserve you anyway. You'll find a better guy. Someone who knows how to treat a lady. I shrugged. Boys aren't my top priority these days. I need to pass the reset. All work and no play. I'll help you with that later. There's this new pizza place at Sope. I thought we could try it out. And I got shock absorbers for Mona Lisa, so you won't feel a thing on the road. He got up and with a little flourish and bow said, Your courage awaits, milady. Joel ni afote takiago. Are you taking me out for a meal and actually going to pay for it? He was quiet for a moment and I wondered if I had insulted him. It was an open secret that March was always broke. I hope I hadn't made things awkward. Yes, Miss Breku Pupulampo. Do you have a problem with that? You better grab this opportunity while it's hot. Heaven knows it's taken me 4 years of waiting to finally get some good money for my work. He put his stamps into his belt holes and cocked his head. So are you in or out? In, I cried, racing him to the door. Thank you. Thank you. So this is the end of this reading. I hope you've enjoyed the book, The Step Monster. Copies can be found on Amazon if you're outside Ghana. In Ghana, it's Vidia's Bookshop and at Book Nook Bookstore online. And my fabulous earrings are from Kelly's Africa. You can find her on Etsy or just type in Kelly's Africa and buy something from her. Thank you so much. Bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners, dear viewers, that brings us to the end of The Step Monster. Quite intriguing, quite interesting. It's quite a journey. It's my prayer and hope that we all have learned lessons from this book. And Ruby has shared her mind with us. Thank you very much for being patient to listen to all the 18 chapters of the book. And I would encourage you to buy the book for your library, to read it, to ponder over it, and to learn the lessons in the book. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for subscribing, for clicking on that notification button, and for sharing it, most important of all. I will see you in the next videos. We're bringing you much more interesting books as well. Many more interesting books. See you soon. Ta-ta.